What's going on, folks? Thank you for tuning in to Beard Bytes. This is episode 21, and later this summer, we're gonna watch Superman, directed by James Gunn. We're two dudes who kind of like comic book, pop culture stuff, but we like gaming, and this is a gaming podcast where we talk about games and what we've played and gaming stories. So,
This is true.
dude, I was so close to turning this whole thing into an ad read, but I
Oh
was like,
yeah,
no, let me streamline it a bit.
you
Like
should have.
later this summer, July 11th. The debut film by the director. And I know I was gonna do that whole thing, but no, I did not.
You should
Let
have.
me just keep it streamlined, man.
Would have been great.
Yo, WB, pay me the big bucks, man. That's how you're gonna get it. Anyways,
Yeah,
even though I
well,
just gave them the promo for the 5 listeners here, but we're here, man.
they'll probably shut us down
Um,
after paying us.
They're like, you mentioned Superman and you didn't get copyright. I'm like, they're gonna copy strike this thing.
Yeah,
Man.
there you go.
And yeah,
They're actually at my door right now, so let me go
yeah,
answer
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Oh
Exactly.
man. But how was your week?
My week has been all right. I'm traveling soon, so I'm just getting packing set up, but I finally was able to finish Blueprints. I am very much a caveman. Like, I feel like I'm like Winston from Overwatch, like gorilla with sophistication, the way I'm
Mhm.
playing Blueprints. For those who don't know, Blueprints, it's a RNG roguelike room builder where every room you build is random and has quirks, and you have to build a perfect sequence in order to find the mystical room 46 in the mansion. There's a lot more to the story. That's just like the elevator pitch, but I really liked it. I can see it being game of the year. There's literally no other game like it, and we got rid of its gas on Game Pass, but if you have Game Pass, you have to play it. Honestly, it's an experience that you have to be in the mood for, in my opinion. But
It is,
I
but
don't
it
know.
is it is a bit frustrating at times. So just be warned when you're going into it. Is what
Yeah,
I would say.
yeah. The one thing I wish the game would give you is something about like it's like if I want not a hint system, but just something to just say, hey, have you tried revisiting this thing? But like that would defeat the whole purpose of
Mhm.
the solving it yourself aspect.
Mhm, mhm,
Um,
mhm.
but yeah, aside from that, I again brought my steering wheel and played Assetto Corsa. Fun fact: Assetto Corsa is what Christopher Columbus said before he left and hit America.
This motherfucker was
Uh,
workshopping this shit for the
dude, I
week for a
was. I
week.
literally have on the docket as like say the joke, just because.
I saw that and I was like, I don't know
Yeah,
what that means, but whatever. Now that you
yeah,
said that.
but. But just like Christopher
Oh my
Columbus, I
god.
am very bad at navigating because damn, I'm out here cannot drive an F1 car for my life, dude. But it's just fun to hop in and just do it every now and then. So that's that. And then had to hop onto Fortnite. Shout out to Darth
Darth
Vader.
Vader, yeah, James Earl Jones and
Yeah,
his corpse.
yeah. Dude, it's interesting. We hopped in just to see like how it is and like what the process is like. At first, it was kind of cool because in order to get Vader on your team, you have to defeat Vader and then interact with him.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, the start of the match, everybody just jumps at the bus at the same time, going to
Mhm.
the island. So it's just Vader. It's Vader's doing the 100. Like 100 gorillas versus one man or whatever, like
Yeah,
meme.
yeah, we're all
The
beating on
one,
his ass.
what, yeah, one Vader versus 100 middle schoolers, right?
It's like
But
it's like the Willem Dafoe bit where he's looking up at the sky and he's like, what the
oh, dude, it's honestly, it was really nice because like you just jump in, it's like a dog fight. So like
Yeah.
someone gets the X fighter, some guy gets the TIE fighter, or X-wing, someone guy gets a TIE fighter, and then someone gets a lightsaber, and it's a free for all just to try to get Vader. And then when you get him on your team, you can press a button to talk to him. We tried to get him to do things, not the best of luck, but there's some people that have gotten him to say ooh woo
Oh,
and
nice.
give Darth Vader a lisp.
Well, we got him to say something
it?
crazy. Remember, we were
Oh no!
we were playing and like something about like desert people came up or like sand
Yeah,
people.
you were talking about like, oh, Vader, didn't your mom die from the desert people?
Oh
And
yes.
Vader's like, what do you mean, desert people or sand people? I
Yeah,
was like, oh,
he
dude,
said, what do you mean by these sand people? And it's like, whoa, what's up with the pause there, brother? But oh man, it was a very,
yeah,
it's a cute idea. But it obviously went horribly awry when it first came out because people were like, oh, we can make him say a slur, and that they did, and it worked. It
yep,
served that purpose really quickly.
yeah. But what about you, man? How's your week been? I heard you have been watching some Star Wars content.
I have been watching some Star Wars content. I've been watching more Andor. I definitely think season 2 is like a lot. Season 1 is great. Season 2, I'm liking a lot more just because the way they're telling the stories. Every 3 episodes is like a year time skip, and like 1 year passes from season 1 to season 2. 3 episodes. Okay, then another year. 3 episodes. Another year. 3 episodes. Another year. So it's like it's a very interesting way to tell a story, and they do. This is like the best Star Wars content that's come out in a while, and it's the most like grounded reality based stuff that it's like, how does the rebellion get built essentially? And it's like, oh, this is how, you know, and it's very, very well done. The characters are really good, and it's self-contained, you know where it's going. So I'm liking it. I'm almost done. I'm gonna try to finish it maybe tonight, but after that I'm gonna watch Rogue One because that was also really good. But yeah, other than that, I played a little bit of Splitgate 2. Not much to say there except for the fact that it feels nice to play. I was telling Ahmed that like I'm a little low-key a little bummed that it's like a free-to-play shooter, not because it doesn't deserve to have a lot of player bases, and like it's not like I don't want it to be niche. It's more so Splitgate 2 being free-to-play, like I'm playing it and then I'm like, man, there's gonna be a time where I'm really enjoying this game and I just won't have like the time to throw into it as some of these other people do. So it's like I'm already feeling like the unk status from it, you know? So there is that, but you know, that's fine. It's a fun game. I definitely recommend trying it out. I think the open beta is going on for another 2-3 days ish. So, and then
I thought it was just gonna be. I thought the beta was just open.
oh, is it open? Okay, then yeah. So then give it a shot. It's pretty fun. Feels good. Feels like Splitgate, but obviously more polished because it's the second one and they know more of what they're doing. So, besides that, I started the journey of Red Dead Redemption 2. Nothing to say there right now. I'm still in the very beginning, but I will let you know when I have more thoughts on that. I'm doing it for the story. I heard the story was amazing, and that's, you know, we'll see if the gameplay keeps me hooked. Yeah, and then I've been playing more Expedition 33. I have beaten Act 1. I'm in Act 2 right now. Game has really picked up. There's a character that is essentially a DMC style like combo character. And it's a really interesting mechanic in a RPG like this. Very good game. I think that's gonna be my next game. I'm just gonna binge through because it's so fun to play. After I finish Doom: The Dark Ages. Before we go into this section, there's a little bit. So shout out to the email. We have email you can send questions to, which is beardbytesmail@gmail.com. Beardbytes, which is BEARD, and then Bytes, which is BYTES, mail@gmail.com. Just want to shout that out before I forget. So Doom: The Dark Ages is something I've been playing recently. I have it on Game Pass. I have about, oh wow, it says I have 16 hours in it. I don't know if that's accurate. I don't know if, you know, Game Pass does a weird thing on PC with counting how many hours in a game, but regardless, Dark Ages is, I want to preface this by saying it's not a bad game, and I don't want, like, I have some criticisms about it, but that's not to say that I'm not enjoying it. I am definitely not enjoying it as much as 2016 and Eternal. 2016, it might be one of those things where it's like nostalgia, because I haven't played it recently, but Eternal I played recently. I played a lot of it very recently, and I can 100% say that I think Eternal is a much more fun game for me personally. There are some things that this game does that kind of take away for me what makes the Doom formula really good in this current day and age. There's one, so I'll talk about the vibe and then talk about gameplay after. The vibe of the game is a little off from what I'm remembering Doom being, or rather what I've experienced Doom to be in the past. Like in you played Eternal, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So there's a scene in Eternal, I guess light spoilers for Doom Eternal, but there's a scene in Eternal where the Slayer goes to like this facility and he's like, you're told, hey, you need to go to Mars. So you got to get to the center of Mars. We got to figure out a way. Don't worry, we'll figure it out. Then he pulls up the schematics for like the BFG like 10,000. He's like, oh, I'm just going to use this, or 9,000, whatever it's called. He gets the BFG, like it's like a huge massive cannon. He's aiming it at the surface of Mars. And the AI is like, dude, you can't just shoot a hole in Mars. What is wrong with you? No words, like whatever. The humor is translated really well to where he just does it. And like the situation is so like, it's on the verge of being too goofy, but at the same time, it's like, oh, this is like pretty, like, it's pretty on brand for what's going on here, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Things like that, little jokes, little bits, like you're walking around and like people are afraid to like give you like a weapon because they're like, dude, he's gonna kill me if I like get near him, don't look at him or whatever. Like all these little things. Doom the Dark Ages does a very different thing where it's like, maybe because it's in the name, obviously the Dark Ages, but like there's that humor I feel is not there. And that vibe is off to where it's like everything is like very serious, campaign forward, like, hey, like this is something you gotta, like, this is the Slayer, he's gotta, you know.
I guess because maybe like this is maybe it's like a prequel in a way where they're just trying to say this is the foundation, so you can't like in Doom 2016 and I guess Eternal, by that point there's like this like lore of who the Doom Slayer is, right? Maybe that's part of it, I guess, like that they can't like introduce like, oh, he's so cool, and it's like maybe it's like this. I doubt it's his first mission or something, right? But like it's like establishing.
And even then, like that's a good point. There is some history here still that you're not shown, but it's still like, that makes sense. Like that logic I can track, right? Like it's like, oh, they need to establish the lore, the legend of him being like just a ruthless killer. Fair enough. Yeah. I agree with that. It's just for me personally, I think that like I would rather have them, you know, like have that humor, have a little bit of brevity. But that takes me to like the gameplay aspect of it, to where like, first off, level design, I'm not a fan of the really wide levels that they have in here. I think they feel a little like it just doesn't feel that good to explore. It feels like more of a chore to like go get the key and then run all the way back to the area that I need to use the key at, like to get the secret item or whatever. And it's just like, I don't think the game is fast enough to like make that kind of traversal okay, if that makes sense. Again, it's not bad. It's not something that like is like making the game like actively terrible to play. It's just something that I'm noticing. I'm noticing myself, the more I do it, the more annoyed I get with it, you know? Eternal is really tight, and I would say 2016 as well is really tight with their level design. Not that they're small levels, but they're very well built levels for the mechanics you're given, you know? I don't know if Eternal or Dark Ages is the same way. And there's just a bunch of random little gameplay choices that I think add up to a culmination of like kind of getting me to be at a point where it's like, I don't really care to explore the entire level. I just kind of want to get the basic stuff done and do my thing, right? One of which being is that the guns, like, they're fine, I think. I don't think there's any, like, there's like one or two that I'm like, oh, this feels really fun to play, like a unique gun, there's like a chain ball shot gun, not shotgun, but like a chain ball that shoots, and it's fun. It's a very unique gun that I haven't had the experience of in any other game. But besides that, I can't really think of any weapon that I'm like, oh, this is really cool, this is very unique. They all just kind of feel okay. And there's some guns that are just straight up upgrades of their alternates. Like there's like two plasma guns, and the first one you get is fine, but then the second one is so good, it's like, why would I ever go back to the other one, you know? And they tell you like, oh, they do different things, you should switch off. It's like, well, no, I don't want to. I don't need to. Why would I, you know?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, it's interesting that you mentioned that like one of the concerns you or the things you didn't like is the open space. Like, do you feel, is there parkour or traversal sections?
No.
Platforming sections? Okay. It's interesting because so when I played Eternal, I hated that section because I was like, why am I freaking monkey barring and jumping back and forth? Like, this isn't Mirror's Edge, man. Get me off the wall.
Okay.
That's why I hated about Eternal.
Really? Okay.
I guess maybe they take some different design choices between the games just to kind of give a distinct entry in the series.
Yeah. And there are some light traversal things where it's like, use your shield to get in an area, whatever. Excuse me, and all that. But I think the issue is that like that on its own is fine, but if that's all there is, as well as like the shield, I don't think there's enough in this game for me to be like, oh yeah, like the shield is the thing. Like 2016, the unique thing was like, oh, it's a new Doom game. The shooting is like very different. It's like a run and gun situation, like, you know, whatever the case is, right? In Eternal, the name of the game was movement, run around, jump, you know, traverse, like all this stuff, platform around the stage. And like you said, you didn't like it, and that's fair. It's a very unique identity towards like, okay, like when you jump into Eternal, you know what you're getting into, right? Here, the shield is fun and it is nice to use, and I do like it. It's a really cool mechanic, but the parry mechanic I don't think is enough to make the game. It's like a supplemental thing. It's not like a main thing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like for example, like CS:GO, right? An example is CS:GO. I would argue, I'm trying to word it in a way where it's like it makes sense, but like, what do you play CS:GO for? Like how the shooting feels, or like the teamwork, or like that core? Like what do you play when you play CS:GO? What's your main?
I'm a gambler, bro.
Besides the gambling, you know?
No, I think it's it's mostly just for the ELO like competitive aspect.
Okay.
Not necessarily because the gunplay feels better or something, but I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, so it's something like that to where it's like what ELO is to CS:GO, like climbing those ranks and ascending that thing. I don't think Doom has like that main pillar to stand on with the parry. The parry is like the supplemental thing, and the shield is a supplemental thing. It's still, I feel like it's still missing that core like oomph, you know?
Yeah, like if you want to compare it to, I guess, Sekiro, right? Where Sekiro, their bread and butter is parrying, and that feels good.
And the game is built around it. Like that's the mechanic, you know?
Yeah.
That's a good example. Yeah, exactly. Here,
like,
I don't.
I guess quick. Do you feel like it's lacking enemies to juggle? Because I think the formula for Doom was, oh, you have. Like someone was explaining it as like fluid chess, right? Where you have like certain enemy types that you need to use certain weapons on, but you're limited on ammo. So you're constantly juggling between that. Do you feel like they toned that down in this game?
I think so.
You don't have to. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the thing with the newer Dooms is you get into a flow state of how do you deal with a whole room of different types of demons, and using each weapon effectively with the limited amount of resources, and knowing when to chainsaw at the very end and things like that. So
yeah, exactly. That's a very good way. Like the flow state in Doom Eternal flows really, like it feels really good. Once you get it down, you're like, okay, I got it. In Dark Ages 1, because the guns aren't that different / that fun to use compared to each other, I don't really feel a need to switch off, right? And 2, as of now, there's some enemies are armored, and the way that the armor works is that you have to shoot it with a gun enough to where it heats up. You throw a shield at it and it breaks off of the person. It's like you have to get it to a superheated state. You throw a shield at it and it bursts off of them. Fair enough. That's like the only thing that is different about most, like that's like the extra class of enemy. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, all the enemies are solved by like either walking up to them and they hit you with a green attack that you can parry, or waiting for them to do a green attack that you can parry it, or just shooting them, right? And that may sound like a lot, but it's one of those things where it's like if every bad guy's solution is, okay, I'm just waiting for the green parry, or I just have to shoot him a bunch of times and it solves the issue, then it's like, okay, like that's the depth isn't there, you know? And with Eternal, like you could make the argument that, yeah, you're just shooting people a bunch of times until you're done. But the difference with Eternal is that you're focused on like jumping around and like dodging and weaving between enemies, and you know, like the movement itself is like a big aspect of what you're doing. In Eternal, the way the game is made is that like, hey, you have a shield, you should be able to block shots. All right, cool, that makes sense. But the way that, because the space is so wide, enemies will spawn behind you, enemies will spawn in front of you, to the side of you, and you'll be hit, and it's like, well, I don't have eyes on the back of my head, so I can't really tell or know when something is coming that I can't see, you know? And I don't want to say the game should be easier, because I think the difficulty is a good space right now, but it's just one of those things where it's like the idea of me running around, running and gunning, and like trying to like be this tank that's standing and fighting. Like, yeah, sure, I want to, but like, again, okay, here comes the green flash, parry, stun, punch, good, like this enemy's gone, or stun, punch, this enemy's bad, like done. And again, I don't want to say the game is like too easy for me, because that's not the case. I've been dying plenty of times. It just doesn't feel satisfying when you clear an encounter, because it's like, oh, okay, I just didn't like do the parry correctly. I just got to go back at it again. And usually I beat it within the second time of it, because it's like, oh, an enemy spawned behind me. I didn't see that guy last time, or I didn't know he was spawning. Okay, now I know he's going to come. So I had to prepare for that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's stuff like that where it's like, okay, like the vibe is a little bit off. And I think that they try to shove the parry into like every single aspect of the game. I talked a little bit about last time the mech and how like it doesn't feel that great. I finished the mech level. I'm about to go into another one. I still kind of stand on that point where it's like, I don't think the mech feels great. They like have like this punch where it's like a green, like essentially you're doing the same thing. Wait for the green flash from the bigger enemies, dodge it or whatever, parry it, use that energy you get off the parry to do a super attack. And it's like the same kind of rinse repeat, you know? The mech doesn't feel much different than me just running up to enemies and punching them when I'm just me instead of the mech. Therefore, my question is, why even add it in the first place if it doesn't really feel that different, you know? And the dragon as well, that they were like, oh, the dragon's like a whole thing, it's like super cool. I'll be honest, I genuinely did not like the dragon. I could not stand how it felt. It just was not like, it was not very smooth. And like they also tried to force in like the parry mechanic in the dragon fights as well, and it just ultimately does not work in my opinion, because there's the way that the dragon level is structured. You have to go board these ships and like destroy them, but before you can board the ships you have to destroy their defenses on the outside. And typically with flying, like, you know, characters and things like that, you're flying and shooting at the same time. The way that they did the dragon was that you have to hold right click essentially and lock on to an enemy. Like it, like literally, like if I'm holding right click and I just fly by a ship with turrets on it, it will like snap you to right in front of the turret, because you have to be in the position to fight it. The reason being is that the turrets have a shield, and the only way to get rid of that shield is if they shoot, you wait for the green thing, you have to dodge in the right direction, and then get like a supercharged weapon off the dodge, and then use that to break the shield and kill the turret. There's no other way to kill these turrets. You have to be in front of it. You have to, you know, be holding this button. You have to dodge their attacks in the way that they want. So it's like a really big momentum killer as I'm flying around on this dragon, you know? So I think it really like the dragon, I think, could use some work. And overall, I think the game in general could use a lot of work, just because it's not that polished. There's like pop-in, there's like a bunch of, you know, graphical issues that I'm seeing on PC specifically. You know, a lot of random crashes that happened. So, and I haven't updated my drivers to the bad drivers that are out right now. I'm on ones that like are pretty good and they work well. And I have a 5080 in my machine, so I shouldn't be facing these issues. But you know, I think the game needed.
So overall, would you say is it gas on Game Pass?
I would say if you're playing it on Game Pass and you already have Game Pass, then yeah, like it's gas in a sense that like it's fun, but I don't think it's better than 2016 or Eternal. I would say just play Eternal personally, you know, for a more polished experience. But also I don't remember how Eternal was on launch, so it could have been just as buggy, but I don't remember it being that way, and I don't feel like it was, but again, could be wrong. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that could be the reason that like the way that this game is currently set up in terms of sales. So it's weird because Doom, so the official Xbox account had put out a story very recently to where they basically posted something that's like, Bethesda bragged about like, let me see here. They posted something on their Twitter, which basically says like, thank you 3 million players, and has a picture of Doom Slayer, or the Slayer with like the logo Doom the Dark Ages. So they're saying, hey, we've sold essentially 3 million copies, which is great. Like that's a lot of, you know, it's a solid game, therefore it should make good numbers, you know. But the weird thing is that like apparently, so as reported by let me find the name of this article. Alinea Analytics have estimated about, they've only sold, supposedly out of that 3 million, they've only sold it's actually really, it's kind of crazy. They've estimated that 2.2 million of said 3 million players are playing through Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, that's I mean, hey, if you have like it's such a wide net because you're basically you're getting some of the PC players and whoever's on Xbox.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know what the economics behind that look like.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if if it's similar to how streaming is set up, where part of the subscription, like there's a pool, and then part of the subscription gets like chipped off into each like user or whoever is like actively consuming the media that is provided on the platform,
Mm-hmm.
or if they just internally can just like suck it up because they can like withhold or support like their internal product being on here, which is crazy because that's literally like 60%, over 60% of the actual player base is on here. And
Yeah.
and especially with the way Game Pass works, I feel like people can just jump into something and not be committed. So I don't know. There is also this thing of the issue now where with companies and publishers boasting about the number of players.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Assassin's Creed had this issue where they're like, "Oh, this is one of the most successful launches in terms of engagement." And it's like, "What do you mean engagement? Like, the people like your tweets, or are people playing your game?" So when people ask Ubisoft, they're like, "We're not gonna release the sales numbers."
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a weird thing right now with how people talk about gaming, and units sold and all this stuff. And it's like, dude, this is like the game just came out. How do you like this? It reminds me how when Sinners, like on debut weekend, like I'm giving rough numbers, like let's say the movie cost 100 million to produce.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wow, I can't believe this movie flopped. It only got 50 million on opening weekend. It's like, dude, there's a couple more weekends after
Yeah,
this.
that's true.
Like that, I think there's such a rush to say like, oh my god, look, people are here, they're watching our thing. But you know, but
Yeah.
like you can, like things can be sustained post launch, right? Or like people can come back and buy things. So I don't know if they're just like fudging numbers or just trying to kind of like publish something on a technicality that like, oh, we have 3 million people that played it. It's like saying like U2 was the most listened to band because it was pre-installed on all the iPhones, like,
Yeah.
back in the day. So
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a very good point. I do wonder what the numbers look like in terms of a new, like how many new subscriptions started because of this. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I mean, I think Game Pass has year-over-year growth. I
Okay.
think like I remember there was an article thing a while back, probably like 4 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
where Microsoft was like, "Oh, we're like nobody's buying our hardware, but our software is going up because like the
Okay.
subscriptions
Yeah.
are there." So,
Okay.
I mean, who knows, man? Maybe when they release their like whatever new handheld system or something, maybe it'll jump up again.
Yeah. I do think that the numbers for Game Pass is also something to look at. Like, I do think there's a correlation in terms of like how much a game costs versus where you can get it alternatively for a much cheaper thing. Because
Yeah.
Eternal is $80, dude.
Huh?
Yeah, it's $80
Already?
Yeah, I believe so. Hold on, let
No
me.
way. Nah, let's all right, bro. Live check. Wait, you said it? No, not Eternal, bro.
No,
Eternal came out like
sorry, not Eternal. I think I'm sorry, I meant Dark Ages.
Dark Ages.
Yes, let me check on Steam real
Dark
quick.
Ages is $70.
Dark Ages. Oh, sorry, $70. $70. Yes.
Man can't even. He doesn't want to hear me talk about it.
My bad.
$70.
$70. So, wait, is it $70? No, hold on.
Yeah, bro. I'm on the Steam page.
No, on Steam, yes, but I think. Hold on. Someone.
Bro, I put my Steam for context, bro. I said I'm January 1st, 2005, and it said I'm not old enough to buy this game. Let's see. Yeah, bro. Doom Dark Ages 69.99.
Oh, I'm looking at the price I was looking at was Canada prices. That's why. Okay, that makes more sense. My bad.
Look at, yo, it's $120
In Canada? Yeah, no. Okay,
What the heck
sorry.
is CAD?
My bad. But yeah. So that erases the point that I had previously. But regardless, I wonder if this is like a sad reality for the team in terms of like, oh, we don't have the sales, it's all on Game Pass, or if it's a good thing, or if they're just like, yeah, that's what we expected, you know? Because
I mean, Microsoft probably has factored this in, right? Like I think there's a whole metric, a lot of things about engagement and how long people are playing your games, and I think that's something that is measured and that's cared about. So I don't know, man. In this day and age, all they do is care about KPIs.
That's
Freaking
true.
Look at the dashboard, go up.
Well, actually, there's a fun little tidbit.
Speaking,
Hold on, real quick about
okay,
sales numbers. Sorry, sales numbers specifically. We talked about like the 3 million or whatever. Claire Obscure tweeted out like earlier today. I just saw this where it's like 33 days ago we released Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Since then, we've sold 3.3 million copies. So it's kind of cute.
Okay, what if no? I feel like they've had to be sitting on that because they could be like, oh, we've sold like 5 million, but we just wanted to tweet out on the 33rd day that we did this on the for 33.3.
Maybe
all this freaking. Yeah,
but they did say that we didn't make it up, so you know, it's fine. I believe them. You know.
Anyways, man.
But you know, they hit their KPIs for sure.
Yeah. Speaking about playing games that makes it feel like it's work, Star Citizen, the game that's trying to model the whole universe up to the hairs in your butthole. They are trying to get more money from players after raising over almost $1 billion. It's getting delayed, and now they are reaching out to the community and saying, hey guys, we're gonna release this like new ship upgrade, but it's basically pay to win, and you can't even use in-game currency. Like quick kind of run through here is they are introducing this Star Citizen is a game about buying a starship or a spacecraft and being like a pioneer in space and all that stuff. It's super detailed, runs like a potato on like NASA computers. But one of the upgrades that is being sold right now is these blades for your starcraft, and this can make your starship go faster or have like tighter turning, and so that kind of depends on like what set you buy, but ultimately you like this game is known to have a super robust economy, and you could like be a trader or a pirate to get some of the resources and then buy some of this expensive stuff. But now this upgrade is now hard locked to only like USD converting into like premium currency kind of thing, right? So there's some backlash there because how are you gonna get freaking GTA 6 development money and not produce a game and still ask for more money? I think that's kind of the setup there. What are your thoughts about it?
Dude, I saw this article and I was like, dude, that's insane. Like, you know, maybe it's on me. Maybe I should not judge the multi-million-dollar company for not being able to make a game, you know? Maybe my bigotry is stopping this company from succeeding.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy because like part of their setup is like there's some subscriptions that you can have. There's also, I mean, microtransactions where you buy the spaceships, and it's crazy because if I'm not mistaken, like if you get a spaceship and it's done, it gets looted, it gets crashed or something, it's done. I don't know if I'm mixing up that in like EVE Online, but so with all that all that setup, like these ship upgrades can go from like $10 to $40. So it's crazy. especially you need like a freaking 6090 or whatever to run this thing, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, you need a spaceship itself to run the spaceship game.
Oh, 100%, yeah. Do you think though it could run on the PlayStation 5 Pro?
No, but you know it is running on the PlayStation 5 Pro.
What?
Well, actually, it may not. Sony's getting kind of tired of running this goddamn marathon they got going on here, bro. Oh my god, it's so okay. It's so bad. We talked about this last week quite extensively about the marathon situation. Do you remember what we talked about? How like it was bad,
Yeah,
you know, everything going on. So what's happening is that essentially where we're at now is, man, okay. The way that marathon is running, the way that it's been, you know, costs have been with it and all the costs associated, things like that, the way that the game has to, it's an unavoidable failure at this point in time because how much they sunk into it. But it goes a little bit deeper in that if you look over, there's like some metric that they measured on Forbes where essentially they have to be in the top 5 games sales of this year to be considered a success. Which that alone is insane. I don't know if they're going to make that, and I don't think they will, because the amount of things they have to beat, which is Split Fiction, which again, that game is $50. Clair Obscur, that game is $50. What else came out this year so far? Let me check here. Let me see what's on this list.
Blueprints.
Oh yeah,
Bro, but okay, honestly, we had some sales data before. Basically they're not beating it because you have to go against Madden, you have to go against Call of Duty, you have to go against like all these other games. Like,
yeah, and the Switch 2 is also coming out this year, so
yeah.
So that's not happening. They're not hitting that metric at all, right? What makes this even worse is that it looks like essentially Sony executives kind of went into the offices and said, hey, we're canceling all paid marketing plans for the foreseeable future at this point in time. And this has led some people to believe, as reported by the Game Post, that it might indicate that they're pushing back a release date. However, according to other sources, that's probably extremely unlikely. And it's one of those things where reason being is that this game has to release now because this is, I think, the final game before Sony has to pay out the final contractual obligations that it has to the executives of Bungie leadership. So for those of you who don't know, they acquired Bungie for about, I think, $3 billion, billion with a B, sorry. And they essentially have been paying that out in installments, and then their final payout is due soon. And this is something that we touched on before as well, but the vibe is such that at the company that after this game releases, the executives are gonna dip and people are gonna leave en masse. Essentially, Sony execs came in and said, you guys need to fix this plagiarism stuff, you guys need to figure out how to work this, like how to spin this, whatever the case is, which has kind of like led a lot of people to kind of look at Destiny and things like that and be like, is $3 billion worth it for Bungie at this point in time? Like, realistic, not at this point in time when they purchased it, right? Because they had Destiny, and Destiny, I don't think was like it made them money for sure, but maybe not $3 billion worth of money, you know?
Yeah, I think it was, they were buying like the pedigree, like they were buying the heads behind Halo, the guys that made Destiny and Destiny 2, and okay, we really need them. We need to see what else they have in the chamber, kind of thing, right? I think they were buying that, but I don't know, man. I think there were. It was also I think probably just a power move of like, oh, we're gonna get Microsoft's golden boy, that they didn't take good care of. Come over here, like I have my jackets open, and then they hug him with one arm.
Yeah,
like that. I imagine that picture. That's what I'm feeling. That's what they did.
Yep.
Because I think like the sequencing of this was, Microsoft bought Um, I I think they had just closed out Bethesda in flight to get Activision, and then Sony says, okay, freaking Bungie.
Bungie. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see that.
that's so. I don't know, man. It's
Bro, Sony got scammed, dog. They got
yeah, 100%.
got, dude. Bungie
You know
said,
whose fault? You know whose fault is this? This has to. It's named Jim Ryan. I'm pretty sure it's Jim Ryan. Is this dude? Man, we had two great. Okay, this is the fanboy here, the guy that middle school and whatever was like sniffing the Sony whatever they were peddling.
mm-hmm.
They had like Shohei Yoshida, great dude, man.
Yeah.
Him and the guy after him, I forget his name, but they really cared about the PlayStation brand, and they really pushed for like Shohei Yoshida specifically. He was like the ambassador for like indies in between like PS3 and PS4 era.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jim Ryan comes in. I don't know where this dude's from, and he just comes in and, hey, we have to make live service games, and then puts Sony in this hole, and he's the reason. Freaking, I'm doing it again. Bungie canceled the game that I cared about, man.
Yep, The Last of Us
Factions.
Yep.
And you know what? This dude wanted live action, live service, everything, bro. He thought everything was live service, to the point that he hired previous, like, one of the producers or directors from Assassin's Creed. Her name was Jade Raymond. She has a studio called what is it called? I think it's called like Haven Light, something like that.
For which game?
There was a
Haven,
game called
Haven
Fair
Studios.
Game.
Haven Studios.
Haven Studios. So Jade Raymond, previous produced Assassin's Creed 1, or one of the producers, or like she was like one of the figureheads there. She produced Assassin's Creed 1. Sometime later, hears that Jim Ryan is doing a live service fest, and she's like, yo, I got a live service game. And apparently that game sucks too.
Yup. Apparently it does. As published by Game Baba Universe. Interesting. They're like, hey, the game feels very
The way you saw that, Baba Universe. Tom Holland.
What the dude. So the game apparently doesn't feel good. It feels very clunky, and it's one of those games where it's like, dude, I think this is gonna be dead on arrival as well, because like I don't know, man. It's another live service like heist game.
This is what they need to do. Bring back Last of Us Factions. That's a great multiplayer game that the people like. You don't even make a live service. Then they need to remake Infamous, right? Infamous 1. Dude, Infamous 1 was so good. You want to know why? You got electric powers, and you can climb anything, and you got the good versus evil. And if you're evil, you get red lightning with, and if you're super evil, you get red lightning with dark in the black in the middle. And if you're good or evil, you just press down on the D-pad. You literally just like summon a lightning strike that you can zigzag. It felt so good. It's so underrated. Bro, make me Sony CEO right now. I'll do it. Please.
Yeah. Well,
I want a new job. Please, just hire me.
Listen, what do you think about it conceptually, right? Like, take a step back, right? You're Jim Ryan. You suggest these ideas, bro. Let's buy Destiny, dog. They're gonna make us so much money. All right, man. You can buy us. We're on the table. What's your price, man? Name it. $3 billion. All right, sold. And they're like, oh shit, really? Okay.
I could have got 10 million.
I could have got 10. Yeah, that could have. All right, fair enough. Buys Bungie, forces a bunch of Destiny 2 stuff. A little bit of profit, but not as much. Like, okay, that's fine. We still have the studio name. Let's figure out what else you can do. In the meantime, Overwatch is pretty good, right? Let's kind of jump in on that too. Sir, Overwatch hasn't been popular in years. What are you talking about? No. Trust. All right, here comes Concord. And Concord gets built out. Concord, we all know the story. Concord fails spectacularly, and they're like, hey, Jim, buddy, you're 2 for 2. Just let you know. Hey, bro, listen, trust me. Bungie's next game, this will put us on the map again. This live service stuff, you know?
Yep.
And he's like, all right, man. Hey, we trust you. And Jim Ryan's in his office one day, and he's just looking at the news, and he's like, plagiarism? What do you mean plagiarism?
Yeah.
And then he hears a knock on his door, and his coworkers are like, dog, what the hell is going on here? And they had to go to the office of, Bungie and break kneecaps and be like, dude, we gotta, oh my God, dude. It's just,
I'll give context real quick. He stepped down in 2024, but still.
yeah, but
Everything that he set in motion is him. He thinks he's gonna retire, and bam, he's not, bro.
yeah.
Buddy's gonna put the fries in the bag. He's answering. He's taking your Wendy's order.
They're gonna take the profit directly from him.
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, look, I don't know if Sony is gonna be making a lot of money, but you know who is gonna be making a lot of money? Specifically, $1 billion.
Oh yeah, who's gonna be making $1 billion?
Randy Pitchford,
the
head of Gearbox, basically said, "Yo, man, you guys don't care about the game so much because if you were real gamers, you would pay $80 for Borderlands 4. Real fans will make it work."
Yup. He did say that. I feel bad.
I'm not trying to. I'm not okay.
Go for it. Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Look, I can.
Be very careful.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, gaming is a luxury. It is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can sort of see what he's trying to say, but man, in the situation that we're in, I feel like you need to you need to understand who you are and how what you say matters, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not. He's not with the boys. He's not just chilling. He's not. You're like the head of the company, man. So it comes off really weird.
So yeah, to give a little bit more context, right? Essentially, Randy Pitchford, he posted something on Twitter or X, whatever, and someone responded saying, "Hey, Borderlands 4 better not be $80." And then Pitchford responded to it, and he said this. He said, "A, not my call, and B, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. My local game store had Starflight for Sega Genesis for $80 in 1991." And I was just out of high school working minimum wage at an ice cream parlor in Prismo Beach, and I found a way to make it happen. That was what he said. But yeah, continue. You were saying?
Yeah. So apparently people kind of pressed him on it, and I forgot exactly where I saw it, but I think I might have just gone debated and just joked on, but I think somewhere I was seeing where someone said, "Oh, he says sorry." Pitchford says sorry because he ran it through a handsome Jack AI, and that's what he said he should say. Which it sounds kind of weird, but the head of Larian Studios basically came out and said, "Hey, man, saying real fans are gonna find a way is kind of gross because it assumes your game is more important than the cost of living crisis that we're kind of going through."
Yep.
And just people are trying to make it day to day, right?
Yeah.
Which that totally makes sense.
I agree.
And then it's crazy. Yeah, go. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, like, it's in line with something the stuff that you said earlier, that he said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
Gaming is a luxury, and realistically, right? Like, if someone is a really big fan of Borderlands 4 and they're like, dude, like, this is the game that I really want, all this stuff, they will try to like save up and all this, and that's something that we did as kids. I remember, like, right, like, oh, you want to buy a game, whatever, you gotta save up your allowance, you gotta save up your work money, whatever that might be. People will do it if they really want it, but for him to come out and say it is like a really gross thing for him to say, because it's like, dude, like, it's as if you're like, but the fans they're addicted to it anyways, they'll buy it anyways, I don't really got to worry about it, like. It's shaming people for loving your product in a way where it shouldn't be done, obviously, Yeah. That's
true. It's weird because like now we're in this point where I saw a TikTok, like after I was reading all this, a TikTok landed on my freaking algorithm, which is crazy, which was talking about how back in the day luxuries like TVs and games were expensive, but the living was cheap, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
like a freaking 720p TV that was like a projector, like the super thick plasma one that was like 100 inches was like 7K, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
now you can get a 75-inch like 4K internet connected TV from Walmart for like 300. Like
Yep.
right now, you just go up and it's crazy, right? So we're at this point where everything is kind of like reversed, and I think that's why the cost of games have, like, in the past you would see ads for like $80 or whatever, and then it got lowered to 60, where like as technology improves, you expect technology, like previous technology, to get cheaper, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the cost of technology to go down. So that's why you see like this curve. But I think we're at a point where maybe the market needs to, like, quote unquote, needs to correct because of like the cost of other factors, and development and bloated cycles and
Yep.
CEO paychecks and all that stuff. Then like now things kind of expand where what we deemed that was like an easy luxury now is starting to get like less attainable.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what that means for the things in total, right? Because like we're kind of also seeing the collapse of the console wars, or like console gaming in a way.
Yeah.
Not just because of games are getting more expensive, but like everybody's going multi-plat. What does it even mean to have a console? Like now,
Yeah.
a lot of things, the definitions are changing, so we're just in this weird kind of spot right now, I think.
Right. And I think
Um,
I think Borderlands 4 might be one of the first games to really test the waters of like, oh, we're worth $80, and people will be like, no, you're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a point that we've brought up before, and I'm not saying that people won't pay $80 for Borderlands 4. I'm sure there will be plenty of people who will, but I also think there will be plenty of people who will not, and they'll say, I don't think Borderlands is worth that. You know, I just spent
Yeah.
$70 on Doom. I just spent, $50 on Clair Obscur, or $40 on Elden Ring Night Rain. You know, like,
Yeah.
will Borderlands be the one to get it? I don't know, and I personally don't think it would be, simply because I don't think people, from what I remember, not as many people enjoyed 3 versus 2. So it's one of those things where it's like you're already fighting from a -1 space, and now you come out and say this, and it's like, dude, you need to
Yeah,
read
you
the
walked
room.
back a bit.
Yeah. So we'll see where this goes. I honestly don't know if, like, I don't know if he's gonna issue an apology, nor I just think he needs to just stop talking and not tell anybody, or not say anything else until the game's out, because every time he opens his mouth about the game or about something related to it, it's mostly like a PR disaster, and they gotta like fix it,
Yeah. Oh, dude, that actually reminds me, bro. There's an issue, a whole thing about his flash drives at the court proceeding.
Yep.
And stuff that was on that flash drive that should not be in the court. I don't know, man. Interesting character.
Yes. If
He
you guys
does
want to look up
magic.
more, you can look up what's it called? Randy Pitchford, USB.
Yeah.
But
And this segue is magical to this next story. Sorry.
Oh, is it? I don't think it is, dog. I don't think
Yeah, it
it
is, bro.
Okay, what's the magic?
Fuck his hand. Okay.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Cyberpunk details.
Cyberpunk
The new-
details.
Yeah. So this is not about new Cyberpunk content. This is more about the Cyberpunk sequel. Apparently, okay, not apparently, the dude talked about it. The creator of Cyberpunk, initial board game turned video game, Cyberpunk 2077, Mike Pondsmith, went on record talking about how he talked to the environmental artists for the Project Orion, which is the new Cyberpunk codename game that they're working on. And he said, yeah, it looks like we're going to be visiting another city aside from Night City, and it doesn't really feel like Blade Runner, but it's going to feel more like Chicago gone wrong. Which is a very
I heard that and I was like, what?
Well,
Wait, Chicago went right? What's going on here? Like, but yeah, continue. Sorry.
I don't know. It's like, well, the comments was like, Chicago can't get worse than it already is.
Yeah, like things
All
like
stuff.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I would hope so. I think I actually okay. I am really glad that they are not doing Night City again. Not because I thought Night City was bad, but I'm very curious to see how other cities and places are holding up in this new like future, you know?
Yeah, it's weird because I think part of it is I want to feel the condensedness of like a city, like Night City.
Mhm.
But I can't imagine because the only other game that I know took place in Chicago, I think, is like Watch Dogs 1, which low key kind of felt just like another open world
Yeah.
city, right?
Yeah, I guess it's not about it being in Chicago specifically that I'm excited about. It's just the fact that like, oh, it's in a different space. The city is a city, you know, like especially in a space like in a place like Cyberpunk, like, you know.
Yeah. Bro, do you think there's gonna be a mission where you steal the Chicago bean because it has chrome? He's like, Choom, I need some chrome.
He goes up.
for it.
V just goes
Yeah.
up and like starts licking it. He's like, "Yeah, this is it. I'm
Yeah.
crumbing up, Choom." It's like, okay, all right, buddy, you're you're cracked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, man. Yeah, it's I think also I think from a technical perspective, having a densely populated area is such a resource hog from like a game engine perspective. So maybe they're just trying to get away from that, because I think that was like one of the main issues is they were early on they were talking about because early on they were talking about how in like Witcher, like you go to a town and the distance between the two towns, like it's there's stuff there, but it's not like you'll run into characters and you run into monsters and stuff, but it's not like a cramped city where, oh, let's go into this 10-story building, which every floor has somebody and has some items. Like imagine like having to have like attributes and resources allocated to each like item and each person in such a condensed space.
Yeah,
that's why like they had some issues with pop-ins, because they're like, okay, we need to generate this stuff, but in a much open world, like a less dense space, you can render this stuff in like more discreetly in the background, so it doesn't know you're not noticing that, oh, your stuff is popping in and out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's a good point. I do think that part of it is also like the fact that they're willing to go to a new space kind of, to me, shows that, okay, they have other ideas in this world that aren't based on just V or just Johnny Silverhand, you know, like Edge Runners is a really good example of like, oh, this is a new story. Even though it's in Night City, it being a prequel is still really good because, or rather, it's a prequel and yet it's still really good because it's like it's dealing with different elements of Night City that you haven't seen before, you know. So I also wanted to point out, this is like something small that I kind of was thinking about. They said the way they're saying it is like, oh, this is like Chicago, but everything goes wrong. So is the implication that everything in Night City is like, not everything, but like it's on the good path? Because if the Night City is a good path, I'm really wondering what Chicago's going to be, you know?
I think maybe it's, I don't know if it's specifically like I think it's like take an existing city and saying, oh, it got messed up, right?
Okay.
Because it's hard to think of Night City, because you look at Night City and you're like, oh, it's probably in New York. Night City is not in New York. Night City is in the West Coast, right? So
it's like LA, isn't it?
Yeah. So they're trying to draw the vibe, I guess, maybe just like, oh, set your expectations here, but oh my god, it went so much worse. Michael Jordan gambled again. I don't know.
Yeah. He got the whole city.
Michael Jordan had a gambling problem.
Yeah.
All I know is because there was the Last Dance documentary,
so
or whatever. Hey man, he liked me for real. Speaking of like someone that's like me, JK, I don't know what I'm doing. But I guess, so what would you want to see from Cyberpunk, the next Cyberpunk? Do you want specific missions? Like, do you want anything that left you craving for more?
I think the writing they have on some of these side missions, like, okay, I want the writer for the DLC to be the writer for the main game, right? Not just the main quest, but the side quests. I think all the side quests in the DLC were really good, from a story perspective and generally gameplay perspective as well. So I think if they can bring that guy or girl, whoever did it, or that team to do that, that would make the game a lot better. And I also want a like I don't mind a smaller map if I actually get the option to explore different situations in a different way, you know? I think the vertical slice that they had at the very beginning of the game, where it's like you can approach the same kind of situation in 5 different ways, really cool. But you did not see that in the rest of the game, you know? So I would want to have less of a big map and then like bring back the idea of like, oh yeah, like your decisions matter in a sense that like you can choose how you do this mission and all that stuff. But what about you?
I just want the side quests to not be yo, you're in area, a fixer gives you a call, hey, go do this thing, let me send you a text. Like I want some context for some of the missions a little bit, or like the side gigs, that it's not just, here's a wall of text. But I mean, granted though, I feel like Cyberpunk had a lot of reading. Which, bro, I'm out here caveman with glasses. I don't even wear glasses, but just conceptually, Winston, but not smart. So a lot of the reading, I was just like, I'm out. So maybe if they add a little bit more I don't know, pizzazz and presentation there, and maybe add a different hacking mini game.
I can see that.
I'm tired of playing freaking crosswords, bro. What do you mean 2 down 4 across? I don't know, what is this.
This guy, he wants the Bethesda lockpicking minigame back in the game.
No, dude, the best one, bro. Just lift and shift Deus Ex hacking. I'm not even a hacker, but that just felt good, man.
Yeah, the Deus Ex hacking was really. I actually felt like I could do my computer science classes, to be honest, when I did that minigame. I was bad at it, but still, I had fun with it. The Deus Ex hacking minigame is one of the best, honestly. Ain't no one like it, to be honest. Let's see here, but yeah. Just like there's no one like the former PlayStation exec. Who was it? Let me find his name. Shohei Yoshida. He had an awesome take, which I agree with, which basically is him saying that, guys, the reason that the games industry is bad right now is because people are just obsessed with stupid money versus making a good product. Or rather, having multiple okay money, and then versus one big money. Which we've talked about it before, but I absolutely agree with this take, where it's like, hey, AA games need to be made by first party studios as well, dog. Like, just do that, and then like do that in the meantime. Not every game has to be a huge blockbuster,
Yeah, I think I agree with this, because I think his main point was, if you have a diverse portfolio and smaller projects, you're gonna see that the money will come in, right? It's not about, okay, you put all the eggs in one basket, and if you launch for like, I don't know, the next God of War comes out and it sucks, it's like, well, damn, we just spent so much money and not everyone's buying it. Right? Like, there's only so much marketing that can just pull people in to buy games. But if you look at a game like Helldivers, where, bro, nobody, like, the impact that it has prior, like, nobody knew about it. Like, I say that kind of generically, right? Like, there were fans of the first ones and stuff, but now everybody that I know has heard of Helldivers, right? In my circles, and people that I talk to. So one of the games will like inevitably just pop off by itself and can get some money. But then also, if you make games for people to play, then you're gonna find the niches and people kind of gravitate towards it, right? It's like, why are you trying to make a freaking Mr. Beast style pizza when you need to spice it up a little bit, man? Maybe make some Thai food, maybe make some spaghetti. I don't know. You don't have to.
I agree with that, brother, because at the end of the day, I think at the end of the day also, like, people want variety, right? That's as simple as that. Like, people don't want the same kind of, like, you said this joke before, but like, third person action game, open world, collectibles. What am I playing? Crafting,
light stealth. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of tired of that. The whole make a game based off of market research, because then you're gonna miss out on games like Blueprints, right? Where it's so unconventional that on paper doesn't make sense,
Hmm.
but somehow it works out really well. And then you're gonna miss out games on like Astrobot,
Yeah,
where
that's true.
that is oozing with so much like charisma and is just such a great game. I don't know. I can't stop talking about this game. It just everything about it is so great. The interaction with all the characters, all the details, the how the audio visual experience and like the tactile feel is
Hmm.
like it's honestly Sony struck gold with the Astrobot team. I hope they don't milk it, but like just let them do what they want to do, you know.
I was literally about to
Um,
say, like, it's unfortunate for that team that they'll be making Astrobot for the rest of their lives
oh
because
yeah,
you
yeah.
know that Sony's like, oh, hey, listen,
We
brother, we got a
found
lot of Concord money to make back. You gotta get to work.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I this is again, this is the goat, man. This is the guy that carried me through the PS3 area, man. I will say PS3 was better than PS4, was better than PS5.
you know what? I don't
Solely
think
because
that's
this
true. I think
why?
PS5 will be better than the PS3 because of Sony's new initiatives into AI. It's gonna take the gaming industry by storm and save gaming.
Davey, okay.
Yeah, you didn't know this? Basically, PlayStation has a new studio and they're searching for a senior concept artist, but with quote advanced expertise with generative AI tools like Stable Diffusion, Midjourney, and even ChatGPT. They're working on a new AAA IP and try to reimagine the development process with IP in mind, with AI in mind. Sorry. Um, yeah, man. You're telling me you're against progress? Your shitty old PS3 could not hold a candle to these AI powered games coming out of Sony's PS5 division.
Nah, okay. I feel like you misread this.
Did I?
Specifically, they're looking for a concept artist. They're
Yes.
not looking for a game artist. They're not looking for game designer. They're not concept art. Look, fuck it. You're gonna whip out the gun right now. That's not that bad of an idea.
I'm gonna be honest. I think that it is a bad idea in that it's starting the process of using AI to make games. That's why I'm so against this concept. Like, yes, technically, yes, it is just, or not technically, it is just a concept artist, right? But at the end of the day, this is how it starts, where it's like the idea of, okay, where can we optimize the process of not needing the human touch in making these things? Oh,
Bro,
artists?
brother,
Hell
they're
yeah.
they're hiring a guy for it. What do you
No,
How are
but
they getting
they're
rid of the guy to by hiring the guy?
they're hiring a guy to do the job of a team that would generally make things, because when you're making a game, generally speaking, it's not just one concept artist. They have like two or three, depending on the size of the game, maybe even more. And so now what they're trying to do is like, okay, like with the generative AI, the idea behind this new role that has these skill sets, like, well, you should technically be able to pump out a lot more pieces of concept art with AI because you can put out more volume, you know? Um yeah, I think that this is I think this is a downward trend. I'm not really a fan of this idea. All the AI art stuff that we've talked about in the past aside, I think just conceptually introducing this into the workforce of gaming and things like that is going to lead to a lot more problems than it's going to solve. That's my take.
Yeah, I mean, this this moment specifically is like because you're talking about and like what is sort like not to diminish the work that concept artists do, but you're
Yeah.
talking about uh like if we're gonna map it, this is like oh you're doing like back of the napkin sketches, not exactly, but like when people talk about like oh let's just elevator pitch kind of stuff, I feel like that's what concept art is where it's at, right? Where you're like hey let's just see if we can get kind of things together, right? So instead of imagine it takes somebody like like half a day
Yeah.
to kind of sketch up oh hey I want to see how this would look like with Like one thing to also let me actually finish the point where like if they're drawing like an armor set, like, oh, I wonder if maybe instead of the strap coming down from the right shoulder down the middle, like what if it swung around to be like from shoulder to shoulder or something, right? Like so those things like I guess you could do better with like Stable Diffusion. And to, specifically on Stable Diffusion, like if an artist already has kind of like a vibe or a style, you can train the data against that to kind of understand like what you're trying to go for. And so it's not necessarily like like that you're stealing someone's work to do this. Like you like these models and things can be built specifically for like what you're wanting to do, right? Like if you're following from that angle as well, that it's not just, oh, uh hey, we're gonna like rip some stuff out and use it generically. It's like, no, you can build a portfolio of like style that you want, and then you can kind of train it against that, or like I don't know. Anyways,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe, but that's asking Sony to hire this person who's going to be good at these tools, and then hiring or paying for art that you can train the tool to learn off of. You know what I'm saying? That's like a double.
no, I'm not saying it's like what I mean to say is you like let's say you have like a vision board. Okay, you can take that vision board, like model, like throw it against the model and be like, hey, this is what we're kind of going for. So when you ask for certain things, you can say, okay, here's my actor, like here's the guy that's playing the main character, make him wear this like sort of armor. It's like, okay, then you can see what the armor looks like on the guy, on the main character, right?
Right,
Like,
but
okay,
that armor is pulling from stuff that's like that they don't own, you know. And this also kind of ties into the next story as well, but it's part of one of those things where like the company, like Sony, would ask the AI, like, hey, put this, like in your example, put this person in this armor. Okay, fair enough, but that armor drawing or whatever reference is not something that is within their portfolio. They had to pull, or it might be, but again, they had to pull from, you know, copyrighted works and things like that, you know.
I mean, hey, bro, Sony is already pulling raw dog in just someone's work. So what's new?
That's actually a good point. Yeah, they're already stealing something, so they they took the extraction shooter shit literally, and they're extracting with artwork, and they're like, all right, guys,
Yeah.
we gotta get out. But this leads to our next story, which is like gamers are making EA, Take-Two, and CDPR scared to use AI. This is from Paul Tassi at Forbes. Essentially, he's talked to some companies, and it's like one of those things where it's like, on its surface, it seems like Gen AI could be used as a tool in games to produce work, voice acting, or even game elements themselves. But these companies are trying to realize the very real risks this poses, both legally and reputationally. He quotes Take-Two that said, the use of AI, you know, it says, presents social and ethical issues that may result in legal and reputational harm and liability. EA said something similar, stating that the use of AI may, quote, may result in legal and reputational harm, which people lose confidence in our brands. And then CDPR has said something similar as well, legal concerns, lack of, you know, copyright protection and all that stuff as well. So, yeah, I mean, I think this is something that's going to be a natural occurring conclusion in terms of like, yeah, this is like the end goal. Because like, if you look at like the way that the corporate world works in general, like you can't use AI generally for the work you do there because one, it's not secure, and two, like you might be stealing from something that could get you in trouble later down the line, you know? So they kind of cut it off at the pass. Here, there was a little bit of ambiguity where it's like, oh, well, you know, the whole art AI thing is up for debate or whatever. So it's fine right now, technically speaking, but realistically, these companies are now starting to look for the future, and they're like, all right, hold on. We could face litigation for this, so we should be careful before just jumping all in.
Yeah, that's true. There was someone that I saw, like an analyst, tweet about this. His name is Daniel Ahmad he's from China, I believe. But his take was that like the way this is worded is saying, oh, these companies are moving away from AI. They're just, but that's not the case. I think they're just legally highlighting the risk associated with it.
Yeah.
One of the things that he mentions was like, okay, for example, the ESRB rating for the games that they're working on could be seen as a risk. So if they're like, oh hey, we're making a rated M game, that might be a risk because there's not teens might not buy it, right? Like because it's now it might not be easily accessible versus a game that's E for everyone kind of thing,
Mhm.
right? So, so highlighting that there's risk associated with using AI is just kind of boilerplate thing to say. Um, and this analyst is also going as far as to saying like, okay, there's already a good chance that even Nintendo is kind of experimenting with AI at this point, generative AI, to kind of see how things are going. But since they are a business that is public facing, the work that they're doing here, they have to disclose it, just because if they come back and get litigated against, or something gets found out, then investors can't be like, oh well, you didn't tell us that you were doing this thing that was potentially risky or XYZ, right? Because we're still in this gray area of what how generative AI is being perceived and whatnot.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
yeah.
That is a good point.
I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, it is the world is scary, man. I think it's just seeing something shift so significantly is just like questions a lot of assumptions. So I don't know. Everybody keeps talking about like, oh my god, the calculator when it first came out. Are we just seeing a more sophisticated thing? I don't know. I'm saying this as someone that I might get fired because they're like, well, we don't need you anymore,
Well, I hope
and just
not.
you can, because I copy paste from the internet. This computer can do it too. But
No, I think that very quickly these companies are going to realize like the limited capabilities that these models and things have. So like trying to outsource all human, like previously done human like tasks and things like that is going to come bite them in the ass eventually. Whether it's legally, reputationally, or just like creatively.
yeah,
We'll see. Because like to go back to the concept art stuff that we talked about, like games are born and bred from their concept art, and like it's one of those things where it's like, for example, like you can describe a game concept, right? Like you can say like open world superpowered hero running through like this is the plot of the game that we want to tell. Okay, like how, let's conceptualize that into like concept art. So okay, let me throw this prompt into the generative AI to give me that. Let me do this. Let me put this. Okay, you could end up with a good product, but it's one of those things where the creative process in and of itself of me drawing it, me like taking it and seeing like what I could come up with, leads to new ideas, right? Like Infamous 2 or Infamous 1, for example. I'm sure during that processing, or like Force Unleashed, right? Like I'm sure during those processes of like, oh yeah, like let's draw out the concept art, new ideas came into motion of like, oh cool, like what if Starkiller does this? What if the characters from Infamous do this, or they have this like theme going on, or like whatever the case is, or like, name a game. I'm sure that this process has come up multiple times where it's like the entire direction of a game changes because of the creative process, right? And if you, I don't want to say eliminate, because you're just going at it from an easier perspective, or whatever the case is, like you're eliminating the human aspect of it, that spontaneity is lost, and that spontaneity can be what makes games like great,
Yeah. No, that's true. I feel like there is going to like, I think we are seeing like people kind of like going ham in what and what can be done with AI, but like there might be a moment where they can like have some ability to just kind of get like a rough idea, and then the artist gives their flair into the situation,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, it's still a developing story, so we don't know,
yeah,
but I'm curious to see what's gonna happen.
yeah. I feel like I feel like a lot of things with AI at the moment, yeah, what you can do with it feels like a fever dream, and I think something that is gonna feel substantially like a fever dream is going to be Elden Ring movie, or the live action adaptation.
Dude, oh my god.
Why? there is no way to adapt this adequately. You're telling me,
Well, first give context because they don't know what we're talking about.
bro?
Fully.
It's in the name, bro. Bandai Namco says, "Hey guys, we are so happy and we're so thrilled that we're gonna team up with A24 to make an Elden Ring live action movie."
Yep.
Why? How? This? Listen, bro. You don't play this game for the story.
Well, I did.
You're like, they should have given us a Bloodborne movie, bro. Honestly, at least you could have got vibes.
I mean, I think
there.
the story here was good. Like, I think the story they had was good, but I think this is a case of,
bro, you're gonna get Whiplash, Marika, Mariketh, Malekith.
Yeah. But if you're a fan of the
Marmaduke.
game and you take a step back and you look at the story, overall, it's a pretty enjoyable story in my opinion, right? Like, it's a very well told, or rather, very like fun and enjoyable, like From Software story. But I think this is a case of same thing for the Last of Us TV show. The movie, in my opinion, I don't think needs to exist. Like, what's the point? Because the game tells the story well enough. However, it's one of those things where it's done by A24, and the director attached to it is Alex Garland, who has directed. Let me see here. You had it
Ex
in here, right?
Machina.
Ex
Yeah,
Machina,
he
which is a
directed-
really good movie.
and he wrote actually for I think DMC4 and a couple of the DLCs for DMC, and he was the writer on the DMC remake, which honestly, bro, like, bro, that DMC remake was apparently story-wise was dookie cheeks.
That is true. That was Dookie Cheeks, but
Yeah.
Ex Machina was good. So I don't know. I think it's interesting because George R.R. Martin kind of gave the framework for the game anyway, so they just asked him to help make a movie. But I guess he's busy
Bro,
writing.
it's the book that he's never gonna finish.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
exactly.
It's like imagine how they're gonna do how are they gonna try to capture? Okay, one, there's like so much to capture. Are you going to talk about the whatever, dude? I'm forgetting all the names because, dude, I am struggling so hard because all the characters have the same letter names, like the Mariketh.
Which guy are you talking about specifically?
Like the like Renala and her side of the family versus like Mariketh and that side of the family.
Yeah.
So are you gonna focus there, or like at one point are they gonna show the fight between freaking Melania and Radon? How are they even gonna show the side quests? Is Patches gonna be there? How does side quests work? Do side quests? Why do I speak like this? Does the side quest? Do you have to watch it on the third day and then revisit the theater on the fifth day, but then give your ticket to the second ticket stewardess? And then from there, you have to drop 3 popcorn kernels.
It's like written by Kojima at this point.
Yeah, I'm just saying because like that, like there's literally a side quest where it's like, yo, go to a bird's nest, drop like 5 items, quit the game, reload, do that 10 times, and you get summoned to a new area.
Yeah, all valid points, right? Like I'm not under delusion that I don't think this will be good, but I'm willing to give it a shot just to see what's gonna happen, because From Software is entering this like interesting, like, screw it, we'll try it kind of era right now, because they've made so much money off of Elden Ring, Duskbloods and Night Rain. They're like, yeah, these are different, but screw it, like, why not? You know, like, so maybe it's just one of those where it's like, sure, let's try it, and then if it sucks, it sucks, you know?
Yeah.
So we'll see where it goes from there.
I bet. Okay, $20. All right, yo, frame it right here, right now. This movie, right, is going to be a play on Edge of Tomorrow, where Tom Cruise dies and keeps coming back to life.
I want it to be.
Ryan Reynolds is the star.
Oh God, I want it to be about just like the dung eater and just like the pesky poo poo plunderer, and that's like That's the entire thing. Everyone calls him a different name the entire movie, and that's all it is. An hour and a half straight of
Dude.
that.
Yeah, how are they gonna show the freaking night table, the round table? Are they gonna have a CGI Alexander?
Maybe.
The people want answers, bro.
We'll find out. Maybe he'll run into Minecraft Steve. Maybe it's part of the Steve-averse, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the news. So we're gonna be taking a break next week for the podcast. But in that time frame, Summer Games Fest will be coming up. So I wanted to ask you, Ahmed, what did you have any predictions that you wanted to make for the Summer Games Fest? We'll do predictions first, and then we'll see. We can say like what we would like to see. How does that sound?
Predictions, sure. Okay. I mean,
we'll do 3 predictions.
Okay. Resident Evil 9.
Okay.
Announcement.
Okay, that's a good one.
Okay.
I like that.
A new. I don't know. Okay, you throw one. Let's see.
Okay. I think that. Okay, I think we're gonna see a Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer.
Okay, fair. Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, and then I also think we're gonna see a new Halo trailer as well. Or actually, we may not see that. I'll throw it out there. Yeah, new Halo trailer, new Kingdom Hearts trailer. And I think we might also see. Oh, I had this written down. I think we'll see footage from the Blade game.
Oh, that's a crazy one.
Yeah, that's my
the Blade game.
Yep, that's my crazy pull.
Okay. Okay. I think then. Okay, let me do 2 more. Okay. Okay. Kojima has a game with Xbox. I think it's called like OD or something. I think we might maybe let's throw that one out there.
Ooh, okay.
And not controversial, just random. The Vampire Masquerade Bloodline 2, we'll see something. I'd like to see something. I don't know if it's gonna be true.
Hasn't this game been delayed like crazy though?
Yes.
Okay. Fair point.
Or actually, okay, all right. Actually, no. I was gonna say something about Valve, but Valve does their own thing, bro. A side point, Half-Life 3, I think is real. It's gonna be there.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
What would I like to see?
Yeah, name one thing.
Infamous remake, please.
Okay. Well, that's not happening.
Or Sly Cooper remake, please.
Okay.
I want to see something, man.
What I would like to see. Let's see. Well, we know what's gonna happen, but Bloodborne remake, Titanfall 3 would be nice, but realistically, right? I think that I would like to see the Season 3 pass for Street Fighter 6. Even though the final character is not even out yet for this season, I would like to see what they have cooking. That's my would like to see.
Interesting.
Yeah. But any closing remarks you got or anything like that you wanted to throw to the people?
Bro, I need to write these down because I feel like I have something, but I feel like it's been a long episode and I don't know what the hell's going on. So I'm just.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't have anything either. But we will be back in about a week or so. We're gonna skip next week recording. So, yeah. Until then, we will see y'all later. If you have any questions or you'd like to write us a question to answer, be sure to email us at what was the email again? This thing here.
Beard Bytes Mail. Bytes BYTES Mail, like, oh, I just opened up the letterbox. MAIL, not the guy mail, but the email.
Beardbytesmail@gmail.com. But yeah, other than that, you guys have a good one.